I'm an information security analyst, works for Gartner Research. I live in Great Britain, and I deal with increasingly deal with human issues, policy and organizational and cultural change issues, along with issues related to regulatory compliance and also investigation, forensic investigation of attacks or investigations of inappropriate or illegal activity. Well, the professional cyber criminal is a phenomenon that's maybe only about 6 years old, and it's still ramping up. It's still becoming more significant. There's the organized crime is learning how to conduct electronic attacks, and the people who write attack code are becoming much more skillful. Look at what viruses did 5 years ago, and they were meant to spread as widely as possible. But today, attack code tries to be hidden, so it can continue to harm your computer, steal data, circumvent your authentication without you being aware that it's there. No. Certainly the terrorists are using the internet, just as any criminals do, for fundraising purposes. And it's clear that the terrorists also are using the internet for communications, both within their organizations and to attract new members and supporters. So that's clear, but as far as attacks on the critical infrastructure goes, no. That's just bizarre, isn't it? It's strange. Who could have predicted that? There's a growing number of people who are making, if not their living, are making extra money by researching and selling vulnerabilities. It's becoming more prevalent. I think it has an impact on us as end users. It's not clear whether the impact is positive or negative. There's some research to suggest that it might cause more harm than good. Ultimately, we don't know. It's a strange little business. The companies that are paying for this are generally doing it for marketing benefit.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that they're harming us, but it does mean that their motivations are not altruistic. Certainly the people who are doing it, the vulnerability researchers, have always been interested in fame, and now they can get money too. It really requires an economic study. It requires the tools that the discipline of economics would bring to really help us understand what form of research and then publication of those discovered vulnerabilities would be most beneficial. Until that's done, it's all complete speculation.
Okay.
It's clear that patches are being reverse engineered to discover vulnerabilities. Well, I'm not sure that there's been anything particularly noteworthy or exciting recently. We seem to be at a point where we're refining the things that we've already got. Certainly on the desktop, there's a continued problem in being able to protect against hostile code. It's the traditional antivirus products are not preventing all forms of hostile code, and it's the hostile code that's most likely to cause significant harm that's least likely to be detected. So there's still a lot of work being done on desktop protection.
Okay.
Ultimately, identity and access management is the area that will probably get the most money spent on it. It needs to be improved. Who are those people? What should they have access to? Both within the enterprise and also on the internet with retail customers. It's still a big problem. And this is another area where hostile code can circumvent the normal authentication process and potentially result in theft and fraud. Well, I think the most important lesson that we're teaching today is the lesson of taking a risk management approach to security. And many traditional security people have always done it this way. They didn't describe it that way. But it's really understanding what the biggest problem is and fixing that first. A lot of unsophisticated security people have been very caught up in the vulnerability problem, thinking that any vulnerability needs to be fixed. But the fact is that life is full of vulnerabilities. You can't fix everything. You need to choose what to fix. And this risk management approach now is becoming more important as government regulation becomes more significant, because it also means that you're documenting what you do. And that, in a situation in which a government can penalize a company for losing private data, or in America for not doing its accounting properly, having good documentation to explain how well you understood your risks, how you managed them, is essential. That's the only way to keep the auditors and the government happy.
Okay, thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you.